Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Hello, thanks for joining us. These are our main stories.
Riot on the streets. Harehills comes under the spotlight after disorder saw a bus torched and a police car overturned. The Police Federation has concerns about repeat trouble.
Those within that community will have been absolutely petrified last night. I'm petrified now knowing that there is potential for a spark again. It's those people that we need to make sure that are safe, and they're our priority.
But as the clean-up operation gets underway, the community hits back, with those representing residents calling for unity.
At the peak of it, there was probably about 1,500 to 2,000 people on the scene, so it was quite chaotic. I just hope everyone remembers that we are a community, and whatever happens here is going to impact us in the long term.
Also on calendar tonight, saddled with abuse, the cyclists facing verbal and physical assaults as they hit the highways.
Going for gold again, the Yorkshire Taekwondo fighter who missed out on the top prize last Olympics with just 8 seconds to go.
And we've got some high flyers here too. With temperatures soaring and plenty of hot air, what better way to celebrate Doncaster's first balloon festival?
First tonight, the shocking images of a burning bus, an overturned police car and a community reeling from overnight violence. Now, some of the streets in Harehills became a magnet for trouble last night after an incident which sparked unrest for a number of hours as police at one point were forced to withdraw.
Well, the Home Secretary, the West Yorkshire MP Yvette Cooper, said those responsible for damage would face the full force of the law. West Yorkshire Police say there'll be extra officers on the streets over the weekend.
Community leaders have called for calm. Katie Oscroft has been in Harehills for us and joins us live. Katie, there are some serious concerns about last night's trouble.
Lara, there certainly are. Now, on the face of it, this is an area which is slowly returning to normal. The police cordons have been lifted. You can see traffic going up and down, and the debris has been cleared away. But last night's scenes were witnessed by an awful lot of people, and it's left them very nervous. There were times when fires were being started, but it was simply too dangerous for firefighters to go in to put them out. And the atmosphere today is one of a community holding its breath. Even the local Morrison's has closed early because of what happened last night. Now, the hope is that the calm we've seen throughout today will continue after a night that no one wants to repeat. The skyline in flames on what's been called a shameful night on the streets of Leeds. A double-decker bus torched, a police car upended. It's estimated 1,500 people were on the streets of Harehills, and the cold light of day revealed the shocking damage. Councillor Mothin Ali was here all night, appealing for calm.
Leave him alone. This is our neighbourhood. This is our neighbourhood.
We acted as human shields for the police because they were there without riot gear, without helmets, without shields, being pelted at with bricks and bottles. So we were just trying to calm people down. There was a couple of passengers on the bus. There's a woman coming home from work and a woman trying to get to work. Absolutely terrified. I got the bus driver to reverse back here and I got those 2 passengers off.
As the clean-up began in Harehills, people who live here spoke of their shock and fear.
It's awful. It's heartbreaking. This is not the Harehills that I was brought up in. It's unrecognisable.
Andrea speaks little English and lives nearby.
So you saw this?
Yeah, I'm here yesterday evening.
Were you frightened?
Yeah, very fight for this.
She tells me people were throwing bricks. There have been questions all day about this. Police officers apparently running from the scene. This afternoon, West Yorkshire Police said in a statement a decision was taken to withdraw these officers temporarily, as it was evident that the police was their sole target. This allowed for further community mediation to take place. One councillor defended the police action and said they prevented much worse.
We know that it's an isolated incident.
The West Yorkshire Police have been impeccable how they dealt with this situation. It could have been handled totally differently and it could have had a total different outcome. So the police worked with us all night. If the police had gone into a full force, they could have then attracted other communities, other people that just came to have a look what was going on.
This incident was sparked when police responded to a call for backup from social workers dealing with a child protection issue. The force says officers were attacked and the disorder escalated. Bricks and missiles were thrown and fires started. This is the defining image of the aftermath of violence and chaos. The flattened and charred remains of this double-decker bus will take some time to clear away. The invisible wounds of a terrible night are likely to remain for longer.
We need to make sure that the community are safe. Those will be most vulnerable in the society. Those within that community will have been absolutely petrified last night. I'm petrified now knowing that there is potential for a spark again.
There's been widespread condemnation of last night's disorder and throughout the day, appeals for calm.
Shocking scenes. Well, let's go back to Katie in Harehills. The police, Katie, have said that they'll leave no stone unturned in their hunt for those who were involved. And the Mayor of West Yorkshire has also spoken out today, hasn't she?
She has, Jessie, and she was speaking to us after she'd met with the police and local councillors, some of whom you saw in my report spent the night here trying to restore calm. Now, there is a real sense that people want to see those responsible for this violence dealt with very quickly. That was echoed by the Home Secretary and, of course, Yorkshire MP Yvette Cooper. But Tracy Brabin also said that now the focus is all about this community and its future.
My concern is, as the West Yorkshire Mayor, is to get that cohesion and that sense of hope for the future, that we will not stand by and have buses on fire in our community without taking action to support the communities to heal and also to build back better.
And Katie, there'll be extra patrols in the area over the weekend. We can see some behind you already.
Yes, Lara, there has indeed been a very visible police presence all day. We've seen community officers, mounted officers. That said, some people have said to me that they still don't feel safe, even though incredibly we know that there were no injuries last night. Now, the police have stressed that they are looking for a criminal minority. They want anyone who filmed last night's violence or disorder to send them the footage, and we know that there's an awful lot of that already circulating on social media. Now, they are working with other agencies, and as you say, there will be a very significant police presence in Harehills over the weekend and probably for the coming days as a major investigation carries on behind the scenes here. Tonight, though, on this warm summer's evening, the streets are very busy. There's an awful lot of people about. It's the start of the school holidays. It is busy, but thankfully, for now, it remains very calm.
Yes, let's hope that continues to be the situation. Thank you very much. Katie Oscroft live in Harehills for us.
Yes. The Harehills area has had its fair share of challenges over the years. There were major riots in the area in the early 2000s, but there are those in the community who are desperately trying to level up opportunities for everyone living there.
Well, Amelia Beckett has been talking to those who helped de-escalate last night's tensions, who have a vested interest in improving the lives of people and, of course, transforming perceptions.
As the torched wreckage of a bus sat in the heart of Harehills today, this is a community determined to show its heart is not reflected here.
Thank you for obviously your support and yours as well.
Councillor Salma Arif is Harehills born and bred. Today, thanking those who helped temper last night's chaos.
We are asking everybody in the area to please stay at home at this moment in time.
But as she pleaded for calm on social media last night, it was those doing the opposite, she says, which only aggravated matters on the ground.
So I was in the middle of it, sort of from 5:30 onwards till 2:30, picking up lots of various different things on social media. There was a lot of sort of rhetoric coming out of social media, which was really unhelpful. Harehills is a really vibrant community with lots of people from different fact of the world, coexisting, living together, and actually happily so. So it's really important that we don't fall into the trap of social media and all the negative things. I unfortunately did witness some of that, and it's never good for the area.
So interesting dynamic.
Down the road, I meet Todd. He set up the Shine Centre in 2007 to bring business and opportunity to the area. Last night, he says, not a true reflection of the last 17 years he's spent here.
I know most of my neighbours here, you know, in general, people are just living their lives and getting on with things. You're always going to have a few bad apples, and if they see an opportunity, they're just going to take it. I think what I did see felt way overblown from what I saw this morning. So yes, some burning cars, that's not great, but only a handful of people really involved in making that happen.
And as the clean-up continued today, the town's MP also met residents eager to help.
Local people worked very hard to try and minimise what happened last night, to try and reduce what was happening last night. There are plenty of unsung heroes here in our community, which is no surprise to me as someone who's proud to represent this community.
Proud of a community whose spirit reaches far beyond the events of last night, now determined to come together in the face of adversity. Amelia Beckett, ITV News, Harehills.
And you can keep up with the latest on this story and all our other main headlines on our website. It's itv.com/calendar.
Well, thank you for joining us for Friday night's calendar. And still to come, the Doncaster Olympian who's desperate to go one better than silver in the Paris Olympics.
And yes, summer arrived to end the working week, but as what is for some the start of the school holidays, will the hot weather continue? All the detail for the weekend and beyond a little later on.
Now, cyclists in our region say they regularly face abuse while out riding the roads, with some believing that the anger towards those on two wheels is getting worse.
Well, one cyclist was even left with a broken shoulder after he was pushed off his bike by a passenger in a passing car. His bike was so badly damaged in the incident it had to be written off. Chris Conway has the story.
Whilst I was sitting in hospital, getting myself checked over, I did start thinking about the consequences. That could have been a brain injury, that could have been permanent disfiguration or a permanent injury.
It was a bike ride which could have been life-changing for Carl. Pushed off at speed by a passenger in a passing car, he says he was targeted deliberately.
A male appeared out of the window very close to my right-hand shoulder with a hood up covering his face, and before I knew it, he'd pushed me off into the ditch on my left-hand side, and I went over the handlebars into the long grass and nettles. And I was doing 25 miles an hour when I was pushed off. I've had an injury to my left-hand shoulder. I've had a broken scapula. That's taken 7 or 8 weeks to fix. Some soft tissue damage on my left-hand side.
While recovering from his injuries, Carl says he became aware of other stories involving cyclists suffering abuse while out riding. Richard is the chair of Skipton Cycling Club. He says Carl's story doesn't come as a surprise.
We get quite a bit of abuse and shouting abuse from the car windows as they pass. We've, as a club, bought 10 cameras that we've issued out to members who regularly cycle, and the hope is that they'll catch the incident on camera.
There are concerns that some negative publicity is fueling an anti-cyclist sentiment. One national charity believes apathy towards those on two wheels has increased.
There seems to be an attempt by some people to create a kind of division between cyclists on the one hand and motorists on the other hand. And this is a really false binary opposition between the two because, you know, most cyclists are drivers and many drivers are also cyclists.
Since recovering and getting back out cycling, Carl has bought an onboard camera for his bike to guard against future attacks.
I'm less carefree when I'm on the bike than I was before. It hasn't put me off. I am conscious of where I am riding now and cars around me and situations that are developing, whereas beforehand I was just naive to that. So I am a little bit more conscious of where I'm riding, the kind of roads I'm riding on, and other cars around me and situations developing.
Carl remains determined to enjoy the sport he loves, but he does so now with an appreciation he says will always stay with him. That his injuries from being pushed off his bike weren't more serious. Chris Conway, ITV News.
Interesting that point, wasn't it? A lot of cyclists are drivers, a lot of drivers are cyclists.
Very
so
interesting. Actually, I gave a really wide berth to a cyclist today. I feel quite pleased about that.
Well done. Excellent. Now then, the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30. Let's find out from Charlene White what's on the programme.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, chaos around the world for airlines, businesses and health services after a major IT outage. We'll have more on what caused it and what it could mean for you. Donald Trump addressed his supporters for the first time since an attempt on his life, as he was confirmed as the Republican presidential nominee. And it's a scorcher. The UK is set for its hottest day of the year so far. So join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Now, how about this? 2 young cricket teams from Bradford will play at Lords this weekend as part of a national competition. Bradford have become the first hub in the history of the MCC Foundation programme to have their boys and girls team reach the final. Youngsters will compete at the iconic venue on Saturday.
I'm just so over the moon. I can't wait to get there and play, just to get to Lords already. It's already we've won the final.
Oh, I just think it's mad. The fact that we're playing at Lords is just so surreal to me.
So this time next week, the world's best athletes will be preparing for the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris.
Yes, the big sporting events certainly do keep coming, don't they? Well, once again, our region is heavily represented within Team GB, with a number of our athletes tipped for medals.
One of those is Taekwondo star Bradley Sinden from Doncaster. He won the silver at the Tokyo Games 3 years ago, but says that he has some unfinished business. Chris Dawkes has been to see him.
For most, an Olympic silver medal is something to celebrate. For Bradley Sinden, it's a reminder of what could have been. In Tokyo 3 years ago, Bradley was winning his Olympic gold medal match by 2 points. With just 8 seconds left, all he had to do was avoid his opponent. But then, disaster. With one swing of a right boot, gold became silver. It was the ultimate kick in the teeth.
It's done. You can't rewrite history. You've just got to go again, and that's what I've aimed to do with every training session, just go again, keep going, because I could think about it and just resent it, and then that won't help me. You've got to put it to bed, learn from the mistakes, so I don't make mistakes this time around.
Are you over it now?
Like I said, I'll never be over it. It's something will always be there, but it's not something what's going to affect me. When I get in that ring, it's all about that day. When I get in Paris, it's all about that. When I got to the Worlds, it's all about the Worlds. If I win gold here, Tokyo doesn't matter. Things happen for a reason. You learn as a person, you build character from it, but it's helped me as a person to change, adapt, think about it and go on again.
Since that disappointment in Tokyo, Bradley has become a world champion for the second time, and he's once again tipped to star in Paris. He's come a long way from the boy growing up in Stainforth near Doncaster, and he owes everything to one person.
I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't for the support. My mum paying for me to train, my mum tracking me up and down the country to the training sessions all around, paying me to go and fight abroad. Without her support and without my nana and my sister's support, watching over my brothers, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did. And it'll be great for my family to be there. Win or lose, they should deserve to be there because they're the people who have helped me get there.
So after 3 years, it's time for Bradley to exercise some Olympic ghosts. Chris Dawkes, ITV News.
Yes, good luck to Bradley. And it's funny, isn't it, that behind every great athlete there's a mum or dad or grandparent that's just been, trailing them around the country.
And actually, you should see me on the Taekwondo mat. I'm pretty good, has to be said.
I can imagine.
Talking pretty good. The weather's pretty good.
The image. Yeah, I mean, it's the hottest day of the year so far. I don't like using that phrase because, of course, you'd expect the temperatures to rise throughout our summer months. But yes, we definitely got there today. But with the sunshine and with the beautiful summer scene. So this is Abbeydale Industrial Hamlet, also a museum now in Sheffield. That's a good top tip for next week. Of course, it's the kids' holidays. A big thank you to Kev, who's from Rosington. This is in New Milladam, amazing calm waters there, beautiful reflections. A big thank you to Sean for this shot. And also this was Ogden Clough in Halifax. Maybe a bit too warm for ramblers, I'm thinking today, because we were well into the high 20s and it was pretty pretty humid. Now, this was earlier in the week. This was Tuesday. We had some rain, but today we got highs of 28 Celsius in Sheffield. This time last year, Sheffield was 39.4, Bramham was 39.8, and Coningsby, the hottest place in the UK that we've ever recorded, was 40.3 Celsius. We had that red alert for heat and help from the government. I can remember it, can't you? Goodness.
Certainly can.
Yeah.
So, Keza, school holidays, my kids have broken up today. You know, is it going to be nice and warm, or is it going to be damp?
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I mean, we've been south of the jet currently, so that's been giving us the really warm weather. The jet's moving southwards. On Monday, we might get a little bit more in the way of showery conditions, but I honestly think they use that term usable weather, but I think over the next week ahead there will be drier, brighter spells where you can do stuff with the kids for sure.
Get them outside.
And not as hot as today, which is important. It's been quite hot, hasn't it?
Yeah. I've liked it. Thank you.
Sat in the office, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, someone who's benefiting from the sunshine outside today is Michael Billington, the little jammy devil.
Oh, I know he is, isn't he? Some reporters get all the best jobs, but that's because he's headed to Doncaster, from where this weekend around 30 hot air balloons are taking to the skies as part of a 3-day festival where we can join Michael, not in the air but on the air right now. And what a weekend for it, Michael.
Oh, honestly, what an amazing evening of weather here. Plenty of sunshine around into this evening here in Doncaster. So great weather if you're a spectator. We'll find out what all this weather actually means for balloon flying in just a moment. But even on the ground, this is spectacular, I'm sure you'll agree. There's going to be 30 balloons here over the weekend. One of the displays takes off at 7 o'clock tonight. Let's speak to one of those who'll be involved. Charlie, what do we call you, a balloon pilot?
Yes, a hot air balloon pilot, yes. So I'm a fully qualified and licensed hot air balloon pilot to be able to fly balloons in the UK.
And this has been a real love of yours since you were quite young?
Yes, yeah, I started piloting, training to be a pilot specifically, when I was 14 years old. So I started off crewing for balloons and then slowly worked up from there.
So we've been talking about how good the weather is for spectators. How good's this weather for flying?
Currently at the moment it's very gusty, very windy, so it's not very good. We're only tethering the balloons at the moment. That's why they're currently down on the ground. So it gets a little bit gusty for tethering, but we're very hopeful for later on that the winds will drop out enough and that we will be able to go for a fly later on.
Well, fantastic. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful evening. Thanks very much
brilliant.
indeed.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's speak to one of the organisers now, because this event has been held all over the country, but this is the first time it's come to Doncaster. Dave Bailey is the main organiser, and Dave, you have travelled this all around the UK, haven't you?
We've been to Cheltenham, we've been to Uttoxeter, we've been Oxford, Northampton, we've been everywhere. London, we've been everywhere with it.
What brings you to Doncaster then?
I'm a Doncaster lad, born and bred here, and I always wanted to fetch something back to Doncaster. And 3 years ago, we moved back here after the pandemic. There we go.
What do you love about it?
It's just brilliant. Everybody comes, look at it all out there. Everybody's loving it. We've got arena entertainment, we've got motorbike stunt teams, we've got Vikings, Civil War, fun fair. And Donny Council have been brilliant with us. And they've one of the people that encouraged us to come here. So yeah, it's just a great fun day.
Tonight will be a real spectacle as well.
Yeah. We've got fireworks later on, but before that we've got the night glow where all the balloons light up to music. They like dance to the music. It's brilliant.
That's going to be quite spectacular.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, weather's set fair, at least for this evening, so enjoy it.
Fingers crossed for tomorrow as well.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Well, as you know, what goes up must come down. The only thing with hot air balloons is where exactly they come down is anyone's guess. And so if you live in Doncaster, later on this evening, get the eyes to the skies, because you never know, you might have an unexpected visitor drop in.
Michael, thank you. Yes, that nearly happened to me.
I was going to say, you've got a story about that.
Yeah, because I was at home, and this is when the kids were a bit younger in Stillington, and this hot air balloon went over the house, and I thought it was going to land on the roof. So we looked out one window at the back of the house, ran to the front of the house, looked out the window, and luckily it just passed by.
Wow, that was lucky. Yeah, you never know who's going to drop in.
No, exactly.
Surprises, surprises. Right, let's get the weather forecast now for the weekend from our Kerry.
Good visibility on the horizon. TIRI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Thank you. Yes, hello again. A lovely couple of days across most parts of the region. Some very warm sunshine, plenty of blue sky and plenty of your weather photos. A big thank you to Patricia for this one of Lady Bower in the Peak District, and also to Andy D of this one of the River Dern near Barnsley. Weather photos at itv.com. So this has been the story today. All the clouds staying to the north and west. The rain staying further to the north and west. And as we head through into tonight, we continue to import that air from a southerly direction. It stays mostly dry, cloud will come and go, there'll be a light breeze, and temperatures certainly in urban areas staying way up 17 or 18 Celsius. Just a little bit of cloud cover over the Pennines by the time you reach dawn. It's very sometimes as we head into the weekend, 5:02 and 9:22. So Saturday morning starts off dry. It will be very warm, quite humid, but it will be overall a cloudier day compared to the last few days. A few rogue showers ahead of the system during the morning. It's not really until later on in the afternoon and the early evening that we see this system pushing in from the north and west. How far south and east it goes, still a bit of a question, but there's likely to be a breakdown by the end of the day. Ahead of that, yes, cloudy, but still warm and humid, with a light breeze from that southerly direction. The system pushes its way through erratically during Saturday night and early Sunday, and actually it's an improving story for Sunday. It will feel fresher, our air from a northerly quarter, but highs of 22. In the sunshine, won't feel too bad at all. It's a little bit more up and down over the next few days, a few showers on Monday and later Wednesday into Thursday, but otherwise a lot of dry weather to be had.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Yes, at least we've seen a few more of these over the last few days. Over the next few days, it's grass and nettle pollen. It stays high until Monday, where we're expecting a few more showers. There you go, and I just looked at the latest temps, still into the mid-20s for many of us at the moment, so that is a really warm night to come for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, hot, sticky night. Let's hope for a quiet weekend on the streets of Leeds. Thank you for watching us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.